Our email and password form is now complete, and up to this point I've been using an iPhone XS simulator while building this page. So at this stage I'd like to run this app on a different screen size to see if everything looks as intended. So over here I have started the app on an iPhone 5S, which has a much smaller screen resolution, and I want to show you what happens when I try to sign in with email and password. So I'm going to tap on sign in with email, and then I'm going to select the email field. And as you can see, we get this strange rectangle with yellow and black stripes, and it says in small, bottom overflowed by 30 pixels. And also we can open the console and we can see that there has been an exception. And the reason we are getting this exception is that here we are trying to render our form. However, there isn't enough vertical space to fill the whole form while showing the keyboard at the bottom. So in this case, Flutter was able to position the email and password text field and the signing button as well, but there isn't enough space left to fit the secondary button as well. So rather than rendering our button, Flutter shows a rectangular area with yellow and black stripes instead. So what we are going to do next is to find a way to solve this problem. And just to be clear, there are multiple ways to address layout problems like this. And which one we choose depends very much on how we are willing to change our layout. So, for example, we could choose to remove the spacing between the various elements in the form, or we could reduce the padding of the form instead. However, if our app was to run on a device with a screen size that is even smaller than this, then our layout would still break. So in this instance, I'm going to suggest that we make the entire form vertically scrollable. And that means that when the keyboard shows up, we will be able to scroll the form up and down, and that means that our layout is no longer limited by a maximum height. So let's see how this works in practice. And here I'm going to open the email sign-in page. And as I said, I want to make the form scrollable. So my intention is to keep the up bar fixed at the top, but I want to be able to scroll inside the body of my scaffold. So to do that, I'm going to wrap this padding with a new widget, and this is called single child scroll view. And once I have this, I can hot reload. And if I now select the email, the keyboard shows up, but I no longer have the layout error. And as you can see, I can now scroll the form up and down. Okay, so before we move on, I want to talk briefly about single child scroll view. And this is a very useful class to know because it really helps solving problems like the one that we just encountered. And if I open up the documentation and scroll to the top of the file, we can read that a single child scroll view is a box in which a single widget can be scrolled. And at this stage, we are not going to look at this in detail because we will learn more about scrollable widgets later on in this course. But in any case, you can spend more time reading the documentation about single child scroll view if you want. Okay, so let's continue on the next video.